Before we dive into today's gripping story, we want to take a moment to appreciate you, our amazing subscribers, new viewers, and the incredible community that makes Moonlight Tales by Samzy so special. Your likes, shares, and thoughtful comments mean the world to us, and we're beyond grateful for your support. If this is your first time here, welcome. You're in for a ride filled with drama, suspense, and unexpected twists. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest stories. And of course, drop a comment below. We love hearing from you, and your support keeps us going. Now sit back, relax, and let's dive right back into the story, because things are about to get even more intense. Erica sat alone in her room, staring angrily at the wall. Her plan by the pool had failed badly. She had thought Ray would fall for her beauty and charm, but instead, he had pushed her away. She felt humiliated, but she was not ready to give up. Erica had always gotten what she wanted, and this time was not going to be different. "I have to be smarter," she whispered to herself, clenching her fists. "If I want Ray, I need to make him see that I am better than Sophie." Erica paced up and down her room, thinking hard. Then a wicked smile slowly spread across her face. She had an idea, a very evil one. If she could make Sophie look bad in Ray's eyes, then maybe he would turn to her for comfort. Erica believed that if Ray thought Sophie didn't care about him, he would be sad and lonely, and she would be there to cheer him up. First, Erica decided to pretend to be the perfect helper around the house. Whenever Sophie wasn't around, she would clean, cook, and make the house look very neat. But she was only doing it when Ray could see her. When Sophie was home, Erica would sit lazily and act tired, making Sophie look like a bad boss. One evening, Ray came back from a long meeting, and Erica quickly grabbed a broom and started sweeping the living room. She wore a sad face, like she had been working all day without rest. Ray noticed her and asked, "Where's Sophie?" "She went out, Ray," Erica said softly, wiping fake sweat from her forehead. "I just wanted to make sure you come home to a clean house. I know how tired you must be." Ray smiled a little and thanked her. Erica felt like she was winning, but that was not enough. She needed to get even closer to him. So she started dressing more beautifully around the house. Tight dresses, sweet-smelling perfume, and soft makeup. Whenever Ray walked past her, she would accidentally brush her hand against his or stand too close, pretending it was a mistake. She also began spreading small lies about Sophie. She would say things like, "I think Sophie is too busy with work these days," or "Sophie seems tired lately. Maybe she's not paying enough attention to you." She made it sound like she cared about Ray's happiness more than Sophie did. But Erica knew that even all these tricks might not be enough to steal a man like Ray. Ray was disciplined and loyal, and Erica needed a stronger plan. That's when she thought of a daring move. She would make Ray fall into temptation by catching him off guard. She told herself that if she could get close enough, if she could make him feel something, even for just a second, then she would win. She waited carefully for the right time. Ray had gone away for a business trip, and Erica started preparing. She bought a new set of very expensive, very revealing lingerie. It was made of black silk and lace, and it made her feel powerful when she wore it. She even practiced in front of the mirror, blowing kisses at her reflection and rehearsing how she would seduce him. When Ray returned that afternoon, tired and needing a bath, Erica saw her chance. Sophie had gone to work, and they were alone. Erica watched from the hallway as Ray entered his room and headed straight into the bathroom for a shower. Quietly, Erica tiptoed into his room. Her heart beat fast, but she told herself that she had nothing to fear. Ray would fall for her once he saw her beauty. She quickly slipped off her clothes and put on her black lingerie. She sprayed a sweet-smelling perfume all over her body and lay down gently on Ray's bed, striking the most seductive pose she could think of. She even practiced winking and running her hand through her hair, just like she had seen in movies. The door to the bathroom creaked open, and Ray stepped out, drying himself with a towel. At first, he didn't notice her. Then he turned and froze. Erica smiled slowly, lifting a finger and motioning him to come closer. Her lips were glossy, her eyes heavy with makeup. She looked like a picture from a magazine. Ray stood still, his chest rising and falling fast. His mind was racing. He felt a mix of anger, shock, and disbelief. After everything he had told Erica to stop, She still had the guts to try again. But Erica wasn't scared. She stood up and walked. She stood up and walked slowly towards him. Her hips swayed with every step. She leaned close to him, the sweet smell of her perfume filling the room, and tried to kiss him. "Come on, sweet Ray," she whispered, licking her lips. "I know you want me." Ray stepped back, furious now. His face turned red with anger. "I've had enough of this nonsense, Erica," he shouted. Without thinking, he grabbed her wrist and pushed her toward the door. "Get out," he ordered. Erica stumbled but managed to keep her balance. She grabbed her robe and stormed out of the room, fuming inside. How could Ray reject her again? How? As she walked back to her room, she wiped away angry tears. "He will regret this," she promised herself. "If I can't have him nicely, then I will have to do it the hard way." Erica had no idea that Ray was already tired of her games, and that he and Sophie were already planning something big to expose her for everyone to see. But for now, Erica still thought she could win, and she was ready to do whatever it took to destroy Sophie's marriage. The war was not over yet. The sun was shining bright that afternoon. In the big, beautiful house, the workers gathered quietly in a corner of the backyard. The housekeeper, the cleaner, and the gatekeeper had finished most of their chores and were taking a little break. They sat on the low bench, drinking cold water and wiping the sweat from their faces. But today they weren't just resting. They had a lot to talk about. A lot had been happening in the house, and it all pointed to one person, Erica. "I don't trust that girl anymore," the housekeeper said in a hushed voice, looking around to make sure no one else was listening. The cleaner, a young girl with quick hands and a sharp tongue, nodded her head fast. "Me too. She's been acting so sweet and nice in front of Mr. Ray, but behind everyone's back, she's full of tricks." The gatekeeper, a strong man with a calm face, leaned closer. "What did she do again?" he asked, curious. The cleaner quickly spoke up. "Do you remember that beautiful vase in the living room? The one Madame Sophie really loved?" "Yes," and the gatekeeper replied. "Well," the cleaner said, rolling her eyes, "someone broke it. I was blamed for it. Madame Sophie scolded me so much that day, and I cried the whole night because I knew I didn't do it." The housekeeper nodded. "I remember. You were very sad." The cleaner's voice grew louder with anger. "Guess what? I found out that it was Erica who broke it. She was the one." The gatekeeper's eyes widened in shock. "How do you know?" The cleaner leaned even closer and said, "One day when Erica thought no one was around, Mr. Ray asked her why she was cleaning the living room. He joked and said, 'Is the cleaner not doing her job anymore?' And do you know what Erica answered?" "What?" both the housekeeper and the gatekeeper asked together. "She told Mr. Ray that I was lazy and bad at cleaning," the cleaner said, almost shouting. She crossed her arms tightly over her chest. "That's how I knew it was her. She tried to make me look bad so that Mr. Ray would like her more." The housekeeper shook her head in disbelief. "That's terrible. And after all the kindness Madame Sophie showed her." The gatekeeper frowned. "This is not right at all. And have you noticed," he said, lowering his voice, "that Erica only acts busy when Mr. Ray is around?" The housekeeper's eyes lit up. "I have noticed it too," she said. "She only pretends to clean or do something when she knows Mr. Ray is at home. But when Madame Sophie is around, Erica becomes as lazy as a cat." The cleaner hissed and shook her head angrily. "She's not cleaning because she likes to help. She's trying to get Mr. Ray's attention. She's trying to make him notice her more than Madame Sophie." The gatekeeper shook his head slowly. "Such a shame. Madame Sophie treats her like a sister. She even fought her own family to protect her." "Exactly," the housekeeper said. "And Erica wants to destroy Madame's marriage? Over what? Jealousy?" The cleaner clapped her hands together. "She's been trying to seduce Mr. Ray, but she's failed every time. Mr. Ray is a good man. He loves Madame Sophie too much to fall for Erica's dirty games." They all nodded their heads in agreement. The housekeeper looked around again to make sure no one was watching them. Then she whispered, "I've made up my mind. I am going to tell Madame Sophie everything. She needs to know what's happening behind her back." The cleaner and the gatekeeper both gasped. "Are you sure?" the cleaner asked. "Madame Sophie trusts Erica so much. She might not believe us." The housekeeper pressed her lips together firmly. "I must try. If we keep quiet and something bad happens to Madame, we will feel guilty forever. We owe her the truth." The gatekeeper patted her back gently. You are right. It's the right thing to do. Just as they were about to end their little meeting, they heard footsteps coming toward them. Quickly, they grabbed their buckets and brooms and pretended to be very busy cleaning. Erica walked past them, swinging her hips and smiling to herself. She looked very proud and very full of herself, like a cat who thought it had caught a mouse. But little did she know, the trap was already being set for her. The workers exchanged secret glances behind her back. They knew the truth now, and they were not going to keep quiet anymore. As Erica disappeared around the corner, the housekeeper whispered, "Her days in this house are numbered." The cleaner and the gatekeeper nodded. The house felt different now. It wasn't just a house anymore. It was a stage, and the real drama was about to begin. After Ray told Sophie everything that Erica had done, Sophie felt her heart break. She sat on the bed, staring into space, not knowing what to say. A part of her wanted to scream, another part wanted to cry. How could Erica, her own foster sister, whom she had loved and treated like family, plan such evil against her? At first, Sophie didn't want to believe it. She remembered the housekeeper had once warned her about Erica, but she had brushed it off, thinking it was just silly gossip. Now, with Ray confirming it, she knew she had to act fast. Ray held Sophie's hand gently and said, "We have to be smart about this, honey. If we just accuse her, she'll deny it and twist the story. But if we catch her red-handed, no one can save her." Sophie nodded slowly. "But how can we do that?" she asked, still feeling a little shocked. Ray smiled, the kind of smile that meant he had a plan. "We will install security cameras," he said quietly. "We'll place them where she won't even know they are there. And when she tries her tricks again, we'll catch everything on video." Sophie thought about it. It was a smart idea. She wiped her tears, stood up, and said, "Let's do it." That night, when everyone else had gone to bed, Ray and Sophie got to work. Ray had some small cameras he used for work when he needed to keep an eye on his building projects. They were tiny, like the size of a button, and they could be hidden easily. Ray and Sophie crept around the house like two little mice, making sure no one saw them. They placed one camera in the living room, one at the staircase, one in the kitchen, and one near Ray's office upstairs. But the most important one was the one they placed in their bedroom and outside the door. That way, if Erica ever tried to sneak into Ray's space again, they would see it clearly. The housekeeper, who had already known a little about Erica's tricks, helped them too. She stood guard and gave signals if anyone was coming. They were a good team. It felt like they were planning a secret mission. When they finished, Sophie and Ray high-fived each other and went to bed feeling a little better. They knew it was only a matter of time now. The next morning, Erica walked around the house like she was the queen. She wore her tight clothes and sprayed so much sweet-smelling perfume that it filled the air wherever she went. She smiled and acted so innocent, but Ray and Sophie knew better now. Sophie pretended like nothing had happened. She still talked to Erica nicely and even asked her to help around the house sometimes. Erica didn't suspect a thing. She thought Sophie was just clueless, and that made her even bolder. Ray also played along. Whenever Erica walked past him, trying to act cute or drop things near him so she could bend over and pick them up, Ray would just smile politely and walk away quickly. He didn't want to give her any reason to think he was interested. Days passed, and Sophie began to lose her patience. "Why hasn't she done anything yet?" she asked Ray one night. Ray chuckled. "Just wait. Snakes always come out when they think the coast is clear." True to his words, something big happened a few days later. Sophie called Erica to her room and told her about a fake office program happening in another city. She told Erica she would have to leave for 2 weeks and that Ray would be home alone. Erica tried to hide her excitement, but Sophie saw the tiny sparkle in her eyes. "Oh no, I will miss you so much," Erica said, hugging Sophie tight and pretending to be sad. But inside, she was dancing. Sophie smiled and packed her bags. She kissed Ray goodbye and waved at everyone, including Erica. As soon as Sophie's car drove out of the gate, Erica's true face showed. The cleaner, who had been cleaning the windows, saw Erica jumping up and down like a little child who just got a new toy. She twirled around the living room and even blew kisses at herself in the mirror. Then when she noticed the cleaner watching her, she quickly stopped and pretended to be serious again. Upstairs, Ray sat in the veranda with his laptop, pretending to work, But he was alert. The cameras were rolling, and every move Erica made was being recorded. Soon, Erica made her move. She crept upstairs, trying to look shy, but failing terribly. She covered Ray's eyes with her soft palms from behind. Ray smiled politely and removed her hands. "Hey," he said, as if he didn't know what was coming next. Erica giggled and leaned closer, trying to rub his shoulders and touch his face. Ray stayed calm. He knew he had to make it look natural so she wouldn't suspect anything. "Let's go inside," Erica whispered sweetly into his ear. Ray agreed, pretending he was falling for her trick. Erica was thrilled. She thought she had finally won. She led Ray into the bedroom. Once inside, she pushed him gently onto the bed and started dancing slowly, reaching for the zipper of her gown. Ray sat still, waiting for the moment to come. Erica, thinking she had him right where she wanted, stripped off her gown, showing the black lingerie she had worn specially for this day. She smiled wickedly and climbed onto the bed, ready to pounce. Just then, the door flew open. Sophie stepped in, her face red with anger. Behind her, the housekeeper and cleaner peeked in, hiding their smiles. Ray sat up quickly. Erica shrieked and grabbed the duvet to cover herself, but it was too late. The camera on the dresser had captured everything: her actions, her lingerie, her wicked smile. Sophie didn't waste time. She stormed over, yanked the duvet away, and pointed at Erica. "Now everyone can see what you really are," she shouted. Erica stood there shocked and speechless. She didn't even try to beg. Instead, she folded her arms and said coldly, "You should be happy I'm trying to help you with your marriage." Those words made Sophie even angrier. Without thinking, she slapped Erica hard twice. Ray jumped up and held Sophie back before things got worse. "Leave this room," Ray ordered Erica. Erica, still half-dressed, ran out of the room. As she rushed past the housekeeper and cleaner, they couldn't help but giggle and whisper, "Serves her right." Erica hissed loudly and slammed the door to her room. Sophie and Ray sat down, breathing heavily. The trap had worked. They had caught Erica red-handed, and now there was no way she could lie her way out. The only thing left was to show the proof to the people who needed to see it: Erica's foster parents. And this time, there would be no mercy. As she hurried down the hall, the housekeeper and cleaner burst out laughing and clapped their hands. Erica shot them a deadly glare, hissed, and stormed into her room, slamming the door behind her. "Bunch of idiots," she shouted, but it wasn't over yet. The next morning, Sophie invited Erica's foster parents, Gerald and Mary, to their home. They arrived happily with Erica's brother Eric, who had now turned his life around and left the world of crime behind. As they entered, they hugged Sophie and Ray warmly, blessing them and thanking them once again for everything. Sophie smiled politely and asked them to sit down. She offered them fruits and juice. As they chatted and laughed, Sophie quietly picked up the remote and turned on the television. At first, everyone thought it was just a random movie, but as the video played, Mary's eyes widened. She dropped the orange she was eating, rubbed her eyes, and leaned closer to the screen. There, on the screen, clear as day, was Erica wearing her black lingerie and trying to seduce Ray. Mary gasped loudly. "Erica! Erica!" she screamed. Gerald looked from the TV to Sophie, then to Ray, his face full of shame. Ray explained everything calmly: how Erica had been harassing him, lying to everyone, and trying to destroy their home. Mary was so furious that she didn't even let Ray finish. She jumped up, grabbed another orange from the fruit bowl, and threw it at Erica's forehead. "Come here, you shameless girl," Mary shouted. At that very moment, the gatekeeper dragged Erica into the room. She had been trying to sneak away with her packed bags, but the gatekeeper had caught her. He had been warned not to let her leave. Mary grabbed Erica by the arm and pulled her to stand in front of the television. "See yourself, you disgrace!" she screamed, pointing at the screen. Gerald looked at Erica with pure disappointment. "How could you think of something so wicked?" he said quietly, shaking his head. Erica, finally realizing how badly she had messed up, fell to her knees and begged, "Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me." Mary was already crying and pleading for Sophie to forgive Erica. But Sophie had made up her mind. She stood tall and strong. "No more chances," Sophie said firmly. "We showed you love, and you tried to destroy us." Leave this house. Leave our lives. Ray agreed. They asked Erica and her foster parents to leave immediately. Erica, crying and shaking, picked up her bag and walked out of the house, with her head hung low. Her days of pretending were over. Months rolled by after the big incident with Erica. The house that was once filled with whispers and tension now bloomed with laughter and peace. Ray and Sophie grew even closer. Their love, tested by the fires of betrayal, had come out stronger than ever. They spent more time together, preparing for the arrival of their babies. Sophie's baby bump grew bigger and bigger each day. Ray always kissed her tummy and spoke to the babies inside, telling them how much he loved them already. Sophie would giggle and tell him the babies were kicking because they were excited too. The workers in the house, the housekeeper, the cleaner, and even the gatekeeper all became like family. They were all so happy for Sophie. Everyone had seen how much Sophie had suffered before, and now seeing her smile every day made their hearts glad. One sunny afternoon, while Ray and Sophie were sitting under the shade in their garden, Sophie felt a sharp pain. She held her tummy and gasped. Ray quickly rushed to her side, panic flashing across his face. "Is it time?" he asked, his voice shaking. Sophie nodded quickly. "I think it's time." Without wasting a second, Ray grabbed the hospital bag they had packed weeks ago and helped Sophie into the car. The gatekeeper opened the gate as fast as he could, wishing them good luck as they zoomed off. At the hospital, the nurses were ready. They gently helped Sophie onto a wheelchair and rushed her into the delivery room. Ray paced up and down the hallway like a nervous cat. His heart beat so fast he thought it might explode. Hours passed, but to Ray it felt like years. Then finally the doctor came out smiling. "Congratulations, Mr. Ray. You are now the father of 3 beautiful babies," the doctor announced. Ray's mouth dropped open. "3?" he asked, not believing his ears. The doctor laughed. "Yes, 2 boys and 1 girl. They are healthy and so is your wife." Ray felt tears fill his eyes. He thanked the doctor over and over before rushing into the room where Sophie lay tired but smiling, the most beautiful smile he had ever seen. In her arms were 3 tiny babies wrapped in soft blankets. "They are so perfect," Sophie whispered as tears slid down her cheeks. Ray sat beside her, carefully touching the tiny hands of his children. Each baby gripped his fingers so tightly it melted his heart. "What will we name them?" Sophie asked. Ray smiled and kissed her forehead. "We already agreed, remember? Alex, Adrian, and Audrey." Sophie nodded. She looked at her babies again and softly said, "Welcome to the world, Alex, Adrian, and Audrey. Mommy and Daddy love you so much." After a few days, Sophie and the babies came home. The whole house was decorated with balloons and banners that said, "Welcome home, babies." The housekeeper and the cleaner had worked hard to make everything look beautiful. They even baked a big cake that said, "Congratulations," in colorful icing. The baby's nursery was the prettiest room in the house. It had soft blue, pink, and white colors everywhere. There were 3 tiny cribs, lots of toys, and even a big rocking chair where Sophie could sit and sing lullabies to her babies. Ray and Sophie took turns feeding, changing, and rocking the babies to sleep. Even though it was a lot of hard work, they were happy. Every cry, every little yawn, every tiny giggle made their hearts overflow with joy. Sometimes at night, when the house was quiet and the babies were sleeping peacefully, Ray would pull Sophie into his arms and whisper, "I'm so grateful for you. You and our babies are my whole world." Sophie would smile, feeling her heart warm. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" she would reply. Ray nodded. They both knew that after all the pain, betrayal, and heartbreak, they had finally found their happy ending. Meanwhile, back in town, people who once gossiped about Sophie now praised her strength and kindness. They talked about how she had forgiven so many wrongs and still found it in her heart to love and trust again. As for Erica, nobody really heard from her anymore. It was as if she had disappeared into thin air, but no one missed her. The house, once darkened by her bad intentions, was now full of love, laughter, and the sweet cries of newborn babies. Gerald and Mary, Sophie's foster parents, still visited sometimes. Though things were not the same, Sophie welcomed them warmly but with clear boundaries. They respected her more now, understanding that their past mistakes had cost them the closeness they once had. Eric, Sophie's foster brother, who had turned a new leaf, also visited. He often brought small gifts for the babies and promised to be the best uncle ever. One beautiful morning, as the sun poured golden light through the windows, Sophie sat in the garden holding little Audrey, while Ray played with Alex and Adrian on a picnic blanket. Sophie looked up at the clear blue sky and said quietly, "Thank you, God, for giving me a second chance at happiness." Ray heard her and walked over with the boys in his arms. "No more sadness," he said gently. "Only joy from now on." And with that, they all laughed together, surrounded by love, peace, and the sweet sound of their growing family. It truly was a happily ever after.